Welcome back to the D1Softball podcast. Jenna Becerra here with you and my co-host Amanda Lorenz. And today's episode is brought to us by our friends at S2 Cognition. As usual, S2 Cognition delivers a revolutionary approach to helping athletes understand how in-game decisions impact their performance from the youth levels all the way to the pros. Amanda, I can't believe, though, that the college softball season's over. This has been so fun all year, and I feel like it went by really fast.
Oh my gosh, it went by so fast. What an amazing season. And I can't believe this is our last episode.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy. But I think we're ending with a bang. We can both confidently say.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So for today's lineup, we will talk about the World Series, of course. But then the real star of the show, Tiare Jennings, will join us for an interview. And then, of course, we'll round things out with the plays of the week and the win and whiff of the week. So lots of good stuff coming.
So good.
So first, the Women's College World Series. That's pretty much what we were living and breathing the past couple of weeks. It's a little bit weird, actually, now that it's over. There's a bit of a softball hangover right now in the college world. But I would love to know, Amanda, before we head into fan questions, some of your favorite moments from this year in OKC.
Yeah, I think that, gosh, just a beautiful job by ESPN of just giving our sport and these athletes such an amazing place to play, and just the way that it was broadcasted. They did an amazing job, and it's what our sport deserves, but we're really thankful for all of the people behind the scenes that just did such an incredible job covering our sport and really just showing these athletes off and how amazing they are. They did such a great job. So I'd say like that in itself, as a viewer sitting from home watching it on TV, it was awesome. Gosh, it was so fun, so competitive, and really cool to see Duke there and kind of get over that hump and get to Oklahoma City so early in their program's, birth. But yeah, so that was cool. Obviously, the Oklahoma four-peat was just unbelievable and so well deserved. I mean, just unreal amount of pressure but unreal amount of talent. And the amount of toughness, gosh, it was just really cool to see. And then obviously, on a more biased note, I was like just over the moon proud of the Florida Gators and the way that they played, not only just getting to Oklahoma City, but the way that they played in Oklahoma City, minus the Texas loss, was unbelievable. Going up against a really good Lexi Kilfoyle and winning 1-0. Freshman Keegan Rothrock, like having 99.9% of all of their innings in the postseason, beating Oklahoma one game and looking like they were going to take the next two. But obviously, like, the Sooners had something to say about that. Nyjeri Kennedy doing Nyjeri Kennedy things and just being unbelievable. The stomp with her face mask falling off. There's just so many amazing moments, right? That just, like, as a softball lover, you watch and you just try to soak it all in, because it just seems like every single World Series, it just keeps getting better and better of how these athletes just play so free and so competitive, and just, gosh, as a viewer, and obviously even better if you're a fan there in Oklahoma City, but just what a great product, and like so entertaining and so fun to watch.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I had to rewatch Nyjeri Kennedy stomping off her face mask because I was like, did she rip it off? Because she's done that before too, No, she just stomped so hard that her
slow-mo was so iconic.
So iconic.
Yeah.
But definitely several moments like that from all the teams. I agree with you on pretty much everything that you said. And one moment being there on site with Duke in particular is I did get to interview Anna Gold's mom after she had a home run, and then the ball was delivered to her by the staff there, and just how proud she and all of the fans were for how far they've gotten, but they still wanted to compete. Like, I know that they lost their first 2 games there, but they were by no means like, oh, we got here, that's all we wanted to do. They were like, we want to play, but still having that balance of being so grateful and proud of what they did accomplish too. So many poetic things as well, like, the SEC showdown with Florida and Alabama, right? Like, that was something that it's like, of course, this happens at the World Series. Same thing with the last Pac-12 softball matchup with UCLA and Stanford, right? And then, of course, the Red River rivalry with Texas and OU. Like, so many things just lined up in that way so perfectly. And then, of course, it's like the regular season champions versus the tournament champions in the Big 12. And it's like, who's going to finally tip the scales? And as we saw, OU did. But on a fun note too, I lived on Dippin' Dots. Delicious. It's like I have it once a year and it's at Oklahoma City, basically.
Yeah, I love it.
Shuckin' Bill's was also the like best corn on the cob I think I've ever had. They're like in the field for anyone who attends in future. Delicious, fresh, amazing. Highly recommend that. So just some of those fun moments too.
Oh, so good. I remember the funnel cakes. Like the funnel cakes were always like, when we were in Oklahoma City, Coach Walton would say winners get funnel cakes. So every time we won a game in Oklahoma City, we would get on the bus and like there would be 17 staff members with so many funnel cakes and you got to like just grab, and we're all just like savages, like sharing these funnel cakes on the bus. But that was like, that's like the Gators thing. So like, that's always what I associate. The food, obviously the players aren't in the stands getting to really take advantage of the cool vendors, but we took advantage of the funnel cake vendors in Oklahoma City, and the Gators know what I'm talking about. You get on the bus or you're right outside the bus and there's so many funnel cakes with powdered sugar waiting for you. So fun, but only winners. Losers don't get funnel cakes.
That is hilarious. I've learned so much about Florida this season, by the way, just from the wedgies after home runs to the funnel cakes at the World Series for winners only.
Yep.
So many good nuggets.
We have a lot of weird things.
It's good though. It works clearly.
Yeah, most of the time.
But also some of your other peers, like seeing USA Softball so present there, Athletes Unlimited there too. Like obviously you're going to get to play with all those folks this summer too. That part's cool too, when all the worlds collide at the World Series. Yeah,
I think it's really cool just because obviously these young fans don't have a ton of access to the athletes that are playing, you know, in the World Series, right? Like there's some autograph sessions, and obviously if you can be one of the lucky ones to get by the field as they're walking in and get a high five, but they're focused on winning a national championship, right? Like they're gonna give as much love to the fans as they can, but to have the pros go back and have more of those personal interactions with the fans is really cool, right? Because you know, we're still playing, we're still here. Obviously, there's so much hype around the college softball season and so exciting when they're at the World Series, but it's almost like, okay, where does all of that love go once the College World Series is complete? So it's really cool to see how they interact with USA softball stars like Sis Bates, Rachel Garcia. You saw even Kat Osterman was out there, Janae Jefferson and Aaliyah Andrews, and just so many like Sam Fisher and AU stars, USA softball stars, just in front of these youth, like showing, hey, like I'm here to support the College World Series, but also I'm here to show you like, this is not it. Like there is more after this and more that you can you're going to make money and do these things. Like it's really, really cool. There's more opportunities than just playing here. This doesn't have to be the end all be all. And I think it's really important for these youth to see that there's more to look for after college, even though nothing is like it. I'm not trying to say like nothing is like the Women's College World Series, nothing in the world, but that's what makes it so special, right? Like you have 4 chances, you have 4 years to get to go. And then after it's about just the next phase of your life and what else you can accomplish in the sport. But no way are our bodies ready to stop playing, right? Like we're ready to keep going. And it's important for these young softball players to know that, and to have eyes on it and know that they can do more after their playing careers and collegiately are over.
Well, and you're a great example of that. And I do remember Jessica Mendoza talking about it. She's like, the World Series, there's nothing like it, like you said. But what are these players doing next week? And now here we are, like in that phase, right? And there's still plenty going on.
Yep.
But I think you're right. It's like for young girls specifically, and for all fans too, to even like realize the full scope of what there is for softball. Like you remember Brenna from Clearwater, one of our videographers, and she had said at the time, she was like, I love Sis Bates. You know, she's a big softball fan too. And we surprised her and told her we were doing an interview, didn't tell her who it was with, and it was with Sis. And then she got to meet her and take a photo and things like that. And it's like fans come in all different shapes, sizes, ages, all of that stuff too. And to have that kind of visibility, it's just like, it's so important.
To keep those eyes on there, to keep ESPN wanting softball year round.
Exactly. Because we know we want it year round. So other people got to also.
Yes.
Well, we'll get a little bit more into that as well, but we'll head into some of the fan questions. We kind of got a similar theme a lot throughout this, which is what are our thoughts on OU's four-peat? It's the most historic thing, right? So, of course, people want to know what are our thoughts on the fact that they were able to actually do it.
I think it's unbelievable, right? And just like I think that the message on social media and in interviews from their whole team was like, "Hey, we have a lot of haters, and you can say whatever. You don't have to like us. You don't have to like the way that we do things, but you will respect us." And anybody who is a fan of the sport absolutely respects what Coach Gasso and this OU senior class have done at the University of Oklahoma, because unbelievable, like the amount of confidence and passion and just the way that they have done such a great job for our sport. I mean, everybody is talking about what the Oklahoma Sooners have accomplished, right? Like Sports Center and all the big shows on ESPN, like they were talking about softball. So you can say what you want to say, but unbelievable. They've set a new standard for our sport, and they deserve it, right? Like the amount of talent and toughness, and just they deserve it. And they came in and they won, and they didn't care about what anybody had to say, who wanted what. They won. So my thoughts are it's incredible. Congratulations to everybody involved, because winning is not easy. Winning when there's that big of a target on your back year after year, game after game. I'm sure they even feel it in their scrimmages and their practices. Like that's a lot. And they did it with grace, and they made it look really easy. And I think that they've said in their interviews, it was really hard. This year was really hard, but we don't really know the magnitude of how hard it was. Right. So my thoughts are it's unbelievable. And I'm really, really excited for all of those young women who got to experience that, because that's really cool and they earned it.
Definitely. It's always impressive to be the first at something like that. They're the only program to ever do it, as we know. But I'm even thinking like larger in the sense of now they're tied with Arizona for the second most as a program ever in terms of national titles. They have 8 total. Like they're only second to UCLA now. That's pretty wild. Yeah. Crazy. Yeah. And the fact that they've won 6 out of the last 10, that's pretty, actually 7 of the last 11 too, if we want to like include 2013. So it's like, that is dynasty behavior.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And the core 5 of that senior class, which we'll get into with Tiare, since she's a part of that, is impressive. But I like to give a lot of credit to not only Natty Patty for everything that she does from the top down, but JT Gasso working with different hitters throughout that four-peat, and Jen Rocha working with different pitchers. Jordy Ball, G. Juarez, Kelly Maxwell this year, right? Like being able to accomplish something like that when it's not like it's the same people every single time, unbelievably impressive.
And I think going back to Jen Rocha, she's had mainly the transfer pitcher too. Obviously, other than Jordy, of taking the brunt of the work, right? And probably their last year. And so she's with someone that's kind of probably set in their ways, a little bit older and kind of knows. And she's always done just an unbelievable job of maximizing their potential. And just like Kelly Maxwell, I feel like that was the theme this year. Talking about her is how different, like her percentages of certain pitches that she uses, and how different it is from her time at Oklahoma State and her time under Jen Rocha at Oklahoma. And so I think that you're right, like just how cool it is, and just what a testament to the coaching, because like the players did the work, and absolutely they were the ones that had to perform, but the coaches were working their butts off, giving them every single resource and ability to be able to do it when it really mattered. So completely agree. Their coaching staff, unbelievable job, and wow, like I'm just blown away. Truly, like it makes me speechless.
Yeah, I agree. I think their experience showed too, from a mental standpoint, their presence on the field, like, cause we talk about all the time how you can't replace game reps. Like nothing quite is the same. Well, you can't replace experience on that stage without having been there. And I just felt like they looked like that's just where they were always meant to be. And they were just so comfortable as well. And I'm just impressed by that, right? Because so many people would not necessarily feel comfortable in that situation.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Oh, man. Well, we will actually get to hear straight from the Sooners' mouth with our guest today, with Tiare Jennings. We could not be more excited for our guest today. I don't even know if you need an introduction, truly, but Tiare Jennings is with us. We, again, could not be more thrilled to have you. And the fact that it's only been a week, by the way, since your 4th national championship, has all of it even sunk in yet?
Thank you so much for having me. It hasn't. I've been like trying to tell myself like you're like a 4-time national champion, and I'm like, I still feel the same. I still get like butterflies about it, but it has definitely hasn't kicked in yet at all.
Gosh, it's so cool. And honestly, for those of you that don't know, obviously we see everyone like Tiare play, but she's an even better human than a 4-time national champion. So that's wild to even think about, but it couldn't have happened to a better human, and just so excited for you. So congratulations for doing the unthinkable, unfathomable, just crazy, crazy things. But for those that know you, we're not shocked.
Thank you.
Yeah, even for those who don't know you as well, but have watched you from afar, I'd say it's not that shocking either. Just because of what you all have accomplished and left it all out on the field. You know, like watching you all throughout your entire career, not even just this season, but I feel like it's easy for all of us to focus on the trophies, right?
Mhm.
And it looks like, oh wow, this is such success that you all reached, but no doubt there was adversity along the way too. Can you speak to that part of it?
Yeah, I think this year was definitely the hardest year. Just because the adversity, the self expectations that I personally put on myself. We were going through that losing streak part. Wasn't even a lot of losing games, but for us, I mean, for everyone else, it felt like the end of the world. But like in those moments, we haven't really felt that in a long time. So for us to deal with it, to get through it, to be like, okay, I'm not doing as well as I thought to lead this team. So I think that expectation I put on myself was hard throughout the year, but definitely super grateful to learn from that. If that happened later in the year, later in postseason, I was able to get myself out of it, to get the team out of it. So definitely a super hard year. But towards the end, like I wouldn't have changed it for the world. Coach Gasso just does such a great job of facing that adversity head on. When something happens, when there's something happening with a team, she puts us in a room and we deal with it and we talk it out. Like, okay, let's be better for each other. I love you. Let's get each other's back, and we move on and we work it out. So I think that's something super cool about this program is that we have adversity every year. We know how to face it. And towards the end, our team chemistry and our camaraderie is just my favorite part about being an OU softball player.
I love it. I would love for you to just talk us through about like the Tiare, the 18-year-old Tiare that stepped on campus at OU her freshman year, and then the Tiare now. I think that me being involved with you like at the bat buster level, you were always just quiet and just did things the right way, and just always been so talented. But you've always reminded me of Hannah Flippin in a way of just this quiet confidence who always does things the right way, but is just perfect at almost all times, right? Like just a beautiful infielder and has an amazing swing. But I know that you've been more of the quiet leader, but have just in your interviews, especially this year, you've just like, it's been unbelievable to see just how you've like really come into your own and kind of owning it. So I would love for you to just talk about 18-year-old Tiare and how you are now.
Yeah, I would say stepping on the campus, I was super quiet. I did my own thing. I kept my head down. I didn't want to have any confrontation. Like I was going to love everybody as hard as I can and just like learn from the best. I had Jocelyn Allo, I had Lindsay Elam, Sydney Romero as a GA. So like I had all my idols at my school and just taking it all in, but just being super quiet. And coach was like, like you're going to have to like talk a little bit more. I'm like, I'm trying. Like I never really did a lot of whole talking and playing a bat buster. Did the same thing. We just kept our head down. We played. I had to learn how to cheer again. I feel like coming to college, so just really opening up. But getting into like my junior, senior year, I just kind of had to learn how to be that leader. And everybody knew that I was going to lead by example and just not really be like a super high voice, but just doing things the right way. I let Kinsey Hansen take over the voice in that leadership role because she has all of it. And for me, it was like, she's got all the talking and I'll do all the doing. And I think that's just kind of how I learned how to be a leader, how to be a captain this year. But definitely just take in every moment. And I just learned that being a leader is all about the relationships you create. So just creating those relationships throughout the years, creating those bonds, trusting each other, is a big part in knowing that if I can trust them, they can trust me as being a leader. So that was a huge part. So I'm definitely grateful for being a leadership role and how it transitioned over the years, because it's definitely taken me just learning in life how to be a leader. So it definitely helped in all ways possible.
I feel like a theme that has come up a lot when talking with you all too is how Patty Gasso, or Natty Patty, let's just call it what it is, lets you all be yourselves. That seemed to be something that you all talk about a lot. How big of a factor do you think that is, and just the impact that she has had on all of you?
Oh gosh, that woman has a huge part of my life. Like you said, she didn't force me to be that voice or be the rah, like just be that. She allowed me to be me, and she knew that we had a lot of seniors this year, so she knew that we were all different. She allowed Jada and Boone to be the chaos coordinators. She allowed me to be me. She had allowed Hanson to be Hanson, but she just allowed us to be who we are, and she never guilted us for it. She never faulted us for it. We all knew that we had a voice, and if we had something to talk about with her, we could just pick up the phone and be like, hey coach, what do you think about this? Like, just give me your opinion on this. And she knows that she's like our mom. You can sometimes will fight with your mom and bicker with your mom, and at practice be like, oh, mom is being hard on us right now. But at the end of the day, she pushes us to be better on and off the field, and allows us to really truly be ourselves.
I think that you guys talk a lot about the championship mindset, and just obviously it's something that has become more of not just a yearly thing that you talk about, but it's really ingrained in your program, and every year it's expected that you guys are going to win championships, and because of just the way that you guys go about your business. But lots of transfers, at least during your time, and it seems like every single time they immediately understand what the Sooner standard is. And I think that your core, was it 5 of you that have been there from the beginning, have done just an incredible job of making sure everybody understands that standard. So just talk a little bit about not only just being a leader for these Sooners that have been recruited through high school, but also recruited through the transfer portal. And they're all been so amazing, right, in their own right, but then coming to an amazing program that you guys have continued to build, and it's at the top, right? So just talk about how you can get kind of older players that are almost set in their ways, but bought into the Sooner standard right away.
Yeah, definitely. I think they're a huge part of our program, and coming in, they're a little, I would say just timid of what to expect, and they don't know what to expect. So coming in, we come in with open arms. We're like, don't change who you are. We're not asking you to be us. Or championship mindset is just being able to love them of who they are and not being able to change them. For example, we took Haley Lee, who dances behind catchers behind there, and she's singing in the middle of the pitch, and at practice it's randomly doing different things. And so just learning from them and vibing off their energy, but telling them like, hey, we're a little strict here. We have expectations. This is like what we like to do, but we want you to do it in your own way, and we want you to feel comfortable to be who you are. So definitely not just teaching them championship mindset, but also learning from where they've come from and how they've grown up and their style of play to brighten up our program a little bit. So it's definitely been super fun to learn from these older transfers for sure. They still have a lot of wisdom from where they came from. So I wanted to take in everything that I could just from all of them. But again, Coach Gasso, as well as the returners, do a very good job of the championship mindset, just the expectations, what we want out of this year. But they do a good job of just trusting us and buying in every year.
They say the best never stop learning. But everyone says that, right? But to see you guys actually put that into practice is definitely a whole other level, and has been fun to watch. Yeah. But when it comes to that core 5, also, I'm sure it's been a helpful balance to have some of that new blood to learn from, but then also have that stability at the same time. Such a special thing, historically. Mm-hmm. Best softball class and at the college level ever, right? How would you describe your class?
Oh gosh, our class is just so close. I mean, we've been talking about it this past week, how we're truly like sisters. We argue like sisters. We fight like sisters. Like, we're truly just eating each other's lives all the time. But one thing that our class does is just like, we love like sisters. And we are like so excited just to go through these 4 years for the COVID seniors. They have 5 years together. So just really taking all these 4 years in. And like, we're just so excited for our next phase of life together, whether that's being each other's weddings or having babies together. Like, we just always talk about like, when we have kids, like, okay, we're gonna drop you off at Auntie Jada's house, and Auntie Kinsey will get you right in the weight room. So like, just talking about all those things together, it just shows how close this group is. But I couldn't imagine living life with this 5 and just all the memories we've had together on and off the field. Like we said, the championships are great, but these relationships are even better. And I think those are what we're going to remember for the rest of our lives.
Oh, I get goosebumps when you talk about it, because I mean, anyone that has been involved in a program that they love, they have those relationships, right? And those are the things that you look back on. It's like, those are the things you miss so badly, is having them as roommates and roommates on the road and being on the bus. So, but when I look at you 5 just together and on the field and in interviews, it's just like, it's an overwhelming amount of confidence that oozes out of you guys. And I think that that's like probably the most inspiring thing, especially for young softball players looking up to, because confidence is fragile, and you guys have never made it look like that. You guys make it look really easy, and it's not easy, right? Especially in a game of failure. And then going back to just the transfer thing and newcomers and holding up this standard, bringing in transfers that are really, really good. You guys have never looked threatened or not confident, like you said, welcoming them with open arms. And I just think I don't know that I even have a question at the end of this, but I just think that's really beautiful and not normal, probably especially in a female sport.
Right.
Of just the amount of confidence that you guys have. And that's why you have so many Sooner fans, right? Like dying for your autograph, and they don't even really know just how hard it is to get to that point, and how that confidence is attained. So I just want you to know that we really understand. We didn't accomplish what you guys have, but we understand how freaking hard it is and how amazing it is, and how you guys have set this unbelievable standard that is just so inspiring and so cool for our sport. And so many eyes have, like, so many people around town, it's like they know you're involved with softball. They're like, how about the Oklahoma Sooners? And it's like, you can't, and I know a lot of you have said we have haters and have this, and it's like, you cannot like us, but you have to respect us. Like, you have to. And that's the bottom line, is if you respect the sport, if you love the sport, there's respect for you guys and what you guys have built. Did you even think that was what you were going to do when you stepped on campus?
Oh gosh, no idea. And I mean, everything you said was spot on. And we had used this analogy, like where we have a blank piece of paper and there's a little dot in the middle. And we get so focused on that little dot where it's all the haters, all the comments, all the negativity on Twitter and whatnot. But that whole other space is those little girls, is those people that look up to, is all the people that support us, is our families. And sometimes as athletes, you just get so wrapped up in how many people hate you and how many people you just see it. And you're like, you don't even mean to look, but it's everywhere. I mean, if you have a cell phone, like, it's everywhere. Mm-hmm. And we got really caught up postseason World Series, like anyone but OU. Like, we just kept reading and seeing everything. And we had to just get reminded of like why we do this. And you look around and see all these beautiful young girls, these young softball players who, like, my life has changed by meeting you, and just puts it all in perspective on why we do what we do. And I think that's why we weren't afraid to lose. The end was already written. We're just happy to be here, truly. Like, either we won or we lost. Like, our story was already written, and we already knew what we were playing for, and that confidence was just joy. And I think that's just what truly, truly filled us this year, is that we didn't let softball define us. Like, we truly just didn't let it bother us. We were really faith-based. So we really had that strong background to go into this year, into all my 4 years. But again, just looking at that paper and that little dot, and we just had to get reminded of all the blank space around it. And that's what truly filled us this year.
I think one of the more impressive things is your ability to live at that number 1 spot. Rankings and all that, sure, but having been the champions the last 4 years, like, living in that space. Not only like have you been ranked in the rankings and things, but you actually were champions so many times in your conference and nationally, right? That's a lot of pressure. And I have been continuously impressed by the way that you all handle that pressure. Because you see other people, like, maybe they get up to the number 1 ranking and it's hard. It's not easy to wear the crown, right? So why do you think, you've touched on it a little bit, but can you go into even more detail as to why you all are so good at that?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like, everyone dreams of like beating Oklahoma. So we're getting everyone's best. It doesn't matter who we play. Like, everyone's bringing their best. And I think that truly made us better. I mean, we played some tough conference teams this year that truly, truly were really, really good. And I just think that truly made us better. And again, learning from those losses, and if we weren't number one, like, we were still up there, but learning from those adversity, those times, I think truly made us stronger at the end. Again, learning from that adversity, but again, it's not really worrying about the outcomes, the wins and losses, just truly just staying within each other, using that team camaraderie, using all of us just stick together, lock arms, walk into battle together, and not let anyone inside our inner circle. Again, it's talked about, right? You talk about championships, and it's kind of like you said, like that pressure, like we definitely know it's there. Like, it's like kind of just knocking on our door. Like, we hear it, and we know everyone talks about it, the three-peat and the four-peat, like people talk about it, but we really truly stayed together as a group and just not worried about it, just kept looking forward. Staying present in each moment was huge for us. To be super easy to look back at the past and, compare stats and like, oh, I'm not good enough as I was freshman year, and go back in that. But Coach Gasso did a really good job in just staying us and present in each moment, game by game, pitch by pitch, just focusing on where we are now, being where our feet are, and just not worrying about any of the future or just leaving the past behind as well.
So good. I think every college softball team in the country, it's like getting to Oklahoma City is the pinnacle, right? So it's winning a regional, it's winning the super regional, and winning a super regional is freaking hard. Like, it's a battle. There's so much anxiety. You know that your season can be over like within 24 hours sometimes if you lose back to back. So a lot of anxiety across the country, right, for super regional week. I'm curious, like, was that same amount of anxiety for you guys, or was it switched? Like, you guys, because other teams, it's like, once we get to Oklahoma City, we're more free. Like, we can take a deep breath. We're here. We're going to compete. It really felt like you guys didn't even feel any of that until the semifinals. It was like, no, our biggest anxiety is just getting to the national championship. And then we take a deep breath. Then we know we got this thing. Like, all we need to do is win that game, and then it's all good. And I'm just curious, like, I think that the same anxiety is for everybody, but I think the Sooners feel it at a different time. I think that you guys play your most free once you're playing in the national championship, which is so crazy to me. It's so cool. But I'm just curious if that guess by me is correct.
Yeah, I would say it was. I mean, we definitely, just like obviously weren't expected to be in a national championship. So that was, you had definitely had a little pressure to be. But once, we got to like each game by game, I think we were getting looser and looser. So it kind of broke it up. I would think that like, we were definitely a little nervous coming in. I mean, we knew like we still weren't playing great. Like, I knew we're still playing great, but like the expectation, of course, is never good enough. So we're still not playing like as we know we should. So that being a possibility. But each game of the World Series, we definitely got looser. But as soon as we got to the Champ Series, it was almost like we've made it. Like, we all like took a deep breath, like, we're here. Like, again, like, we felt like we already won because we just made it there. Like, we already did the impossible by getting to the Champ Series. So win or lose, we were already talking about it. Like, we were already celebrating the fact that we got there 4 years in a row, because just ending your season 4 years in a row in the Champ Series is just unreal. So the fact that right when we were doing media, the first day of the Champ Series, we were like, oh, we're good. Like, we made it. We finally got here. And that was like our goal. So it definitely was, your opinion was right. I'd say right in the middle. It was a little bit correct, but right in the middle.
Awesome.
No, but it's a different standard, right? Like you've both said, it's just, it's so cool to watch in that way. I think like also seeing the rivalries play out on this stage, like obviously not the first time you've been in the Champ Series with Texas, just a couple of years ago, it happened the same way. But when you have them and you have Oklahoma State also on that stage, how did that factor into the experience this time around?
Yeah, I know, like, we obviously lost to them during conference, so for us, it was like, "Okay, here's a moment to get our second chances." I mean, we don't get a lot of second chances in life, so being able to go to the World Series with them there, always a super fun and competitive series. Rivalries are just so much fun to play in. Those are my favorite kind of games. I just remember the atmosphere, great fan bases on both sides, so for me, it's just super fun to be in those uncomfortable situations. I just love to be in it, and I think for all of us to be there, not only just shows, sometimes I just think the Pac-12 or the Big 12, excuse me, just gets overlooked. And I just think like, you have three teams coming in the World Series and all three super good competitive teams and playing them in the World Series. Texas always super competitive and fun. But I definitely do think the fan bases get more of a kick out of it just because they both go at each other. But it is super fun to be in a rivalry, especially on the biggest stage of college softball.
I feel like we've seen a lot about your family and just how supportive they are, how they showed up for you, your amazing senior day. So I'd love for you to just talk about how important it was for you to have them so present for your senior year. I feel like just on social media, following them, they were there the whole time throughout your senior year, making sure that they never missed a moment. So just speak on that a little bit.
Yeah, it was everything this year to have my family there. They're, the reason why I hear so many sacrifices. I think it was just huge too, being my sister's first year playing in college softball, playing at San Diego. We really had that connection, starting at the Mary Nutter when all of our families came out. They made T-shirts. So it's definitely right from the beginning. My family didn't miss any of my senior year and her freshman year. So it was a huge moment for all of us, just both of us be playing at a D1 level. Just this huge accomplishment for us. But for senior day, it was just beautiful. Did a whole cultural, heritage day for my Polynesian culture, and it just brought me back to my roots, brought me back to playing. And I just think that, people in the Polynesian culture just show how much love and how much family is meant to them. So I definitely want to be a representation of that when I'm playing on the field. So looking up at my brother and my dad and all my family, my mom and sister at the World Series just gave me that family, that love, that cultural connection of why I'm playing and who I want to represent in my last year. So it definitely meant the world to me, them being there. And they're definitely going to be sad because they're not going to be in that moment for a while. So it's definitely going to be a huge change for not just me, but for my entire family. That was their world. But now they can just show that same support to my sister and their program going on. So it's not over yet, but yeah, huge adjustment.
I remember seeing the T-shirts that your family wore with San Diego and with Oklahoma at Mary Nutter, and they were awesome.
Yeah, they were. They were great.
Yeah, so cool. And I feel like a lot of people will ask or talk about like, hey, if I could share something with my younger self, this is what I would say. Your younger self was also a national champion in college, but what would you share with your sister and then with the OU team and program moving forward?
To my sister, I always told her, I tell her now, like, just make your own name for yourself. I mean, there's times where it's like, oh, is that Tiare's younger sister? Are you Tiare's sister? And I'm like, tell it literally doesn't matter. Like, you make your own name for yourself. Me and you are completely different and in the best way possible. God gave me my talents and abilities, and he made you the same way. And he, he is just going to use his talents and abilities as well for her and through her at her school and her program. And she's going to make a difference in any way possible. But just know that I don't have any effect of her decision and her way of playing college softball. Like, she is her own person. And that's what I was told her. Like, there's no expectation to be me. I'm not putting that on you. Our family's not putting that on you. So there's no reason to put that on yourself. Just continue to be you, make your own name for yourself, and do what you love to do. But just to Oklahoma softball, I just couldn't have imagined my last 4 years being at any other program. Like I said, the championships were like just the cherry on top, but the relationships, the coaches, everything else, that was the main reason why I chose this school and chose this university. And I just couldn't be more proud to make Norman my home. So it definitely was just still speechless, still thinking about it, just how much joy I have for that program.
So beautiful. Well, and you can say that you don't know, but just because everybody wants to know what's next for Tiare, what does this summer look like? What does next year look like? What are some of your big goals, life, professionally? What do you want to do next?
Yeah, so right now I'm just getting ready to start training with Team USA. I get to play with my other idol, Amanda, which will be so fun. Stuck with me all summer.
So excited.
But going to Italy, competing for a world championship. So that is something to look forward to. And then after, just getting into playing professionally, something that I also dreamed of since I was a little girl. So definitely continuing on to play softball. But then I'll definitely be a student coach and graduate assistant here at the University of Oklahoma. So getting into that coaching role, seeing what it looks like, being able to help the future Sooners to, just another season. And I'm just looking forward to see what the other side is going to be like.
No way they were going to let you go.
I know. They're stuck with me.
Yeah, going to hold on to you for as long as they can, as they
Absolutely.
should.
Yes. So we still get to see you play and we still get to see you with the Sooners. It's kind of a win for everybody in softball, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Tiare. This was great. So excited for you. Amanda said it at the top too, but congratulations again for all you've accomplished. And also good luck with everything that you're going to accomplish, because we'll certainly be cheering for you along the way.
Thank you so much for having me. It was fun chatting with you guys.
Thanks, Tiare.
Thank you.
What a gem, Amanda.
That's an understatement, right? Just unbelievable. Just a great, great human. Just a superb human who happens to have 4 national championships, 4-time All-American. Just about every accolade you can think of, Tiare Jennings has in her pocket. But she's so great. She's so great, and she's so good. She's so good.
Yeah, 4-time everything at the college level, basically.
Yeah, literally. Yes.
And you get to play with her. That's so cool. I mean, I love the full circle stuff too, with the Batbuster connection. And then, now you get to play with USA after college. And man, it's the stuff that makes this so, so fun.
Yeah, what an honor, right? I cannot wait to, obviously I remember practicing with her. She was so young while she'd be training with us when we were on the Batbusters, but, and now just to learn from her. Obviously I haven't been up close and got to see the way that she works in a really long time. So I can't wait to talk hitting with her and learn from her, because she's one of the best, if not the best, in our sport right now. So cannot wait.
See, but this is what we talked to her about this. This is what makes you great too, Amanda. You're learning from her, right? I've heard Laura Berg refer to that sort of when she talks about when Caitlin Lowe, for example, came in on Team USA years ago and became the center fielder. She was like, I was learning from her. That's what the greats do, Amanda. And you're in that group.
Well, thank you. But I think that's the most fun about professional softball and just where we're at. We don't have coaches, right, all the time with us. So obviously Team USA is a unique experience because we're there. And I've said over and over, Coach Walton will be there. So I can't wait to get coached up, right? And have some coaching. But in the professional space and with Athletes Unlimited, we're learning from each other, right? We have no choice. If you want to get better and you don't want to get left behind, you're learning from the people around you and picking each other's brains and trying to figure out, hey, I never thought of doing something like that. Why do you do that? And can you show me that? And hey, why do you do this? Is that something that can benefit me? Maybe that's something that only benefits you. And that's not something that could work for me. But that's been the best part about professional softball, is just learning from people. It might not even be something that I can apply to my game, but if you're just a lover of the sport, you want to know why and how people can be so successful. So yeah, I think that that's something that our sport does really well, especially at the professional level, is sharing information. We're not ones to just keep things to ourselves. We want everyone to use the tools and get better and figure out how to keep going and keep playing, because staying here, no one wants to keep playing softball for 5 years when you just keep staying at the same level, right? You want to keep evolving and keep learning. And I can't wait. This senior class that just graduated, so excited. I want them to play softball for forever. Don't stop, because I feel like they are just going to ignite this new excitement in professional softball with USA softball. Just, they're so talented, have so much passion and confidence, and so much they definitely aren't at the end of their road. They have much more to go. So I hope they keep going.
Yes. So many people talking about how they didn't peak till they were in their late 20s too, maybe in their career. And the fact that we can hopefully see as many of them as possible get to play to that point, and that you're playing still, I love to see, right? So cannot wait. I agree with you.
So good.
Well, we also have some plays of the week. Might have been the hardest. How do you pick plays of the week from the World Series, right?
Yeah.
I had the hardest time for sure this time around, but we managed.
Yep. Mine was pretty easy, but I'll talk about it when mine's up.
So my play of the week, I kind of cheated because it's really 2 plays in one, sort of. But you'll see why when we pull it up here, and I'll speak to it. So on the left, you have Emily Jones on base. On the right, you have her in center field robbing a home run at the wall. So on the left, she was so confused. The lip reading content was out of this world. I asked her about it too. She's like, I forget that I'm being filmed sometimes. But, just raw energy. So she was actually initially called to have been leaving second base early, just on a leadoff, like nothing really going on. They went and reviewed it, and it was shown that she did not leave early. So that to me was like almost its own like little whiff of the week, to be honest, because that was such a weird call. But then not very long later, same game, she makes that amazing catch in center field and fires up her team. So just seeing her kind of bounce back mentally in that way, as well as obviously a great physical play, all for that.
Love all the emotion too. So good.
So good.
All right. And then here's mine. Mine was pretty easy, and I will have it play first. So not the most unbelievable play from the World Series if you're just looking at the specific play, but that was the play that capped off the four-peat and brought another championship back to Norman. So I think that that's just unbelievable. I think that that's obviously the theme of the episode, but the fact that they were able to win 4 national championships in a row is truly incredible, and something that everybody that's a fan of the sport should be celebrating because of how amazing it is. It's really, really great what they've done for the sport, and really freaking hard to do.
So hard to do. And you're right. It's like the moment where everything culminates.
Yeah.
Like so much went into that moment. It might have been a ground out, but it was so much more to it than that.
So much
everybody.
pressure. Yeah.
No kidding.
So
and then
cool.
the most outstanding player, Kelly Maxwell. I mean,
yeah,
getting to come in. That was such an epic entrance too at the end. Fired up.
No, so epic, like goosebumps. And obviously her just being Kelly Maxwell, showing no emotion. Like it was really, really cool to see like what the end and her smile a little bit, and just like a lot of relief, and just like an overwhelming like sense of thankfulness like oozing out of her, which was like really, really cool to see.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So happy for her and the whole team, the program, everybody involved.
Absolutely.
Oh man. Well, that's obviously a huge win from the week, but we have our win and whiff of the week as well. Amanda touched on this earlier, because the ability to view and actually tune in to all of these games and how that's grown with ESPN over the years is absolutely unreal. But what's even more impressive is somehow we keep breaking those records. There were multiple records broken. So like if we take a look, this is a snapshot. I'm not going to have like read through every single one because there's so many, but one that I will highlight is the most watched World Series finals on record, with 2 million people tuning in. It was records throughout super regionals as well, even the Big 12 championship, all of those things, and the most watched regular season since 2015 as well. So, but 2 million people in the World Series finals, that is unbelievable. And by the way, they're going up against the NBA finals at the same time on TV. So the fact that we were able to accomplish that as a community, man, proud of us.
So cool. So proud of us. So proud of just fans of the sport. I know like for a while it's been like, hey, how many TVs do you have in your house? Turn them all on, right? Like we need the viewership numbers up, 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 because the more that ESPN broadcasts our sport, like the more that it's going to grow, the more NIL deals, et cetera, like just the more money in females' pockets, the more opportunities they're going to get, the more opportunities professionally they're going to get. Like just the more viewership that we can get means everything. Like just it affects more than I think we even realize. So just so cool. So many fans of our sport, and it's so awesome that, like you said, just keep breaking those records year after year. That's what we should be doing, right? Like we want to keep going on that path.
Exactly. So thank you to the viewers, and obviously thank you to the entire ESPN team and everyone involved with putting it on.
So good. So good. All of the ESPN talent just on camera and obviously behind the scenes too did such an amazing job. Truly.
Awesome.
All right. And for the whiff of the week. Oh, yeah. Whiff of the week is that softball's over. Like there's nothing left on the schedule as far as the college game goes, but ESPN is still putting Athletes Unlimited games on. So we're in the middle of AUX right now. In the middle, as we're recording, Series 1 is finishing up today with 2 more games today. But like we said before, viewership means everything. So if you are a softball fan and you listen, pay attention and please watch Athletes Unlimited on ESPN this summer. So AUX will be going for another 2 series. So I think that's about a week and a half left, maybe a little bit less than that. And then starting the end of July, AU championship season will be broadcasted on ESPN. And we need those numbers. We need those fans to tune in and keep watching these amazing college softball players that you love so much. Hopefully we'll get some Sooners that you love there down in Rosemont, or up in Rosemont, I should say. And so you can keep watching your favorite players. But while it's really sad our college season is over, professional softball is here and we'll be on ESPN. So please tune in.
Oh, the win within the whiff for
yes,
sure on that one. Yes. I mean, it's just been so fun doing this show every week too. And while this particular show is ending along with the college softball season, like the coverage from D1Softball certainly isn't. There's going to be plenty coverage of Athletes Unlimited, other pro adventures, and then of course some of the international softball that's going on this summer too. So Amanda, actually we've touched on it a bit, obviously AU USA, but how can everyone follow you on the field this summer?
Yeah, so I'm going to be headed to Oklahoma City the end of this month for USA Women's National Team training camp. I think we're going to be playing the elite team. We're also going to be playing the Oklahoma City Spark during that training camp. So that should be awesome. And then a few days after that ends, we head to Italy for the World Cup. And so I'm hopeful that there will be some streaming and that I will definitely post the links to that on my Instagram. So anybody that wants to watch us while we're overseas, so you can watch and support us. And then right after that, I'm heading to Chicago for Athletes Unlimited championship season. And so for those of you that don't know, you're on a new team every single week in Athletes Unlimited. It's a 5-week season. There is a new draft. We have 4 captains, which are the 4 top humans on the leaderboard that have the 4 top amount of points, as you call it. So we're a point-based league. Everything comes with a cost, right? So a single, you get 10 points. You win an inning, you get 10 points. You win the game, you get 50 points. So you want all the points that you can get so you can climb up that leaderboard and be a captain. So I will also be posting each team that I'm on because it's ever changing. It can be a little confusing at times. So make sure that you are following your favorite player on social media so that you can really know what team they're on and how to keep up with them. But in general, I hope that you guys just watch all the games. It doesn't have to even just be my game. Watch all the games, and but I will definitely be posting all of the things so all the softball fans know where to find us.
Oh, so many good rookies too, like who played in the World Series, who are going to be like Jadlyn Alshin, for example, from UCLA, already in AUX. Like they went straight into this too, so we can as well as fans.
Absolutely. And thank you guys so much for just such a great year and for listening into the podcast this year. It's been so fun to work with Jenna and talk softball every week.
Oh, so much fun. And I will give one more treat too to the listeners if you stuck around again to the end. We do have a discount code. You can stay up to date on all the action with D1Softball. Like we said, the code summer 2024 will help you save 20% on an annual subscription. So go to d1softball.com/subscribe to register, and you can access our premium content today. Again, still so much going on in the summer. So please join us there. But I want to echo what Amanda said too. It's been so fun doing this all season long, and we can't wait to see everything that softball is going to do moving forward, and we'll be cheering it on the entire way.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.